Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a parent or a caregiver, you already know that the transition to solid foods comes with a massive mix of excitement and, let's be honest, quite a bit of anxiety. Suddenly, you are the one responsible for their entire culinary world. So let's take a deep breath and look directly at the official guidelines from the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics. We're going to uncover a clear, super practical roadmap for exactly when, what, and how to introduce solid foods. Today, we're going to follow a really simple, straightforward framework to give you an easy manual for this big milestone. We'll look at the signs of readiness, choosing those first foods, introducing new foods, and finally, preparing everything safely. All right, let's jump right into part one, signs of readiness, and knowing when it's actually time. The very first question every tired parent is asking is, okay, exactly when should I begin? Well, according to the data, the magic number here is 6. The official recommendation from both the Dietary Guidelines for Americans and the American Academy of Pediatrics is to wait until your child is about 6 months old to introduce foods other than breast milk or formula. And the CDC is crystal clear on this. Introducing foods before 4 months is definitely not recommended. But, every baby is unique, which brings us to the physical cues. Okay, let's dive into this, because age is just a number. These physical signs are your true green lights. You want to see that your baby can sit up alone, or at least with support, and that they have strong, steady control of their head and neck. Notice if they actually open their mouth when you offer food, and this is a big one, that they actually swallow it, instead of just thrusting it right back out onto their chin. You'll also see them naturally bringing objects to their mouth, trying to grasp small toys, and showing the mechanical ability to transfer food from the front of their tongue to the back so they can safely swallow. When you see these milestones aligning right around that 6-month mark, you're good to go. Moving right along to section 2, choosing first foods and building the menu. Here's the best part, and this should totally take the pressure off. The guidelines show there is actually no single perfect order for introducing foods. By the time a baby is 7 or 8 months old, the sources suggest they can already be enjoying a really diverse menu built from all these main food groups. You can explore vegetables, fruits, meats, and other proteins, whole grains like infant cereals, and dairy options like yogurts and cheeses. Just make sure those dairy choices don't have any added sugars. The whole goal is just to provide a variety of foods that give your child all the vitamins and minerals they need to thrive. And this brilliantly illustrates a major shift in how we feed babies today. For generations, everybody just started with exclusive infant rice cereal, right? But the CDC guidelines clearly point out that only feeding your child infant rice cereal can actually increase their risk of arsenic exposure. No thanks. Instead, the safe, recommended path is to offer a wide variety of fortified infant cereals. Think oat, barley, and multigrain. Variety is absolutely key here. Now, while we're talking about what to feed them, there is one major exclusion to keep in mind. Even though sugar-free yogurt and cheese are fantastic additions, drinking actual cow's milk or fortified dairy alternatives is not recommended until your child is older than 12 months. Keep their primary hydration to breast milk, formula, and eventually a little bit of water, and just save the milk in a cup for after their first birthday. All right, on to section 3, introducing new foods and our strategy for allergic. It brings us to what is often a massive source of anxiety for parents, food allergies. But honestly, the CDC outlines a highly effective, super simple testing strategy to help you easily identify any allergic reactions. Step 1, just let your child try one single ingredient food at a time at first. Step 2, don't shy away from potential allergens. Include things like eggs or peanut butter right in this process. And step 3, this is the golden rule, wait 3 to 5 days between each new food. That little buffer window gives you the time to observe your baby and make sure they're tolerating the food perfectly before you move on to the next culinary adventure. Speaking of potential allergens, here are the big ones you want to keep on your radar: eggs, shellfish, nut butters, and wheat. Now, the guidance used to be to delay these for as long as possible, but current recommendations actually say to introduce these potentially allergenic foods right along with the other new foods you're offering. Exposing them early and safely is actually part of building a resilient immune system. However, I need to throw in one absolutely crucial caveat here, straight from the CDC. If your child has severe eczema or already has a diagnosed egg allergy, you need to hit the pause button. Talk with your child's doctor or nurse first about exactly when and how to safely introduce foods with peanuts to make sure it's done in the safest possible environment. Which brings us to our final part, section 4, preparing foods safely, focusing on texture and prep rules. We're going to shift now to exactly how you serve the food to tackle that other major parental fear, choking. First off, it's all about progression. In the beginning, it's easiest for your baby to eat mashed, pureed, or strained foods that are perfectly smooth. You can easily get there by mixing infant cereals with breast milk, formula, or water. Now, please listen closely to this next point because it will save you so much panic. It takes time for your child to adjust to new textures. So coughing, gagging, or spitting up, totally normal at first. Gagging is just a natural reflex and a big part of their learning curve. As their eating ability develops, you can confidently and gradually start introducing thicker, lumpier foods. Now, what's really interesting about this is how much a simple change in geometry drastically alters the safety profile of a food. Take cylindrical foods. Think hot dogs, sausages, or string cheese. These are a major choking hazard because a round piece can perfectly plug a child's tiny airway. The safe prep is incredibly simple. Alter the shape. Cut these foods lengthwise into short, thin strips so they physically cannot block the airway. And that exact same physical logic applies to small, spherical foods. Grapes, cherries, berries, cherry tomatoes. They are dangerous in their natural round state. You've got to alter that shape by cutting them up into small pieces. You're always aiming to prepare foods that will easily dissolve with saliva or are small enough that they don't require heavy chewing, always keeping the tiny diameter of a baby's airway in mind. So, to wrap up these prep rules, let's turn these dense guidelines into an easy, reassuring mental checklist for the kitchen. First, cook hard fruits and veggies until they're soft enough to easily mash with a fork. Second, be meticulous about stripping away all fat, skin, and bones from any meat, poultry, or fish before you serve it. Third, completely pop out all seeds and hard pits from fruit before cutting them up. And finally, if you're serving whole grain kernels like wheat, barley, or rice, ensure they're cooked and finely ground or mashed. Oh, and one more absolutely vital rule from the CDC. Always, always watch your child while they are eating. Well, there you have it. Looking at all these guidelines, it's pretty clear that starting solids doesn't have to be a source of stress. It can actually be one of the most fun, messy, and exciting milestones you'll experience together. By knowing the signs of readiness, embracing a variety of foods, smartly spacing out allergens, and prepping textures safely based on the data, you really do have everything you need. So, a final thought to ponder. Your baby is biologically ready to discover a whole new world of flavor and texture. Are you ready to let them explore it safely? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy feeding!